What is up, you legends? Today what I have for you is a patch notes, kind of analysis, review, however you want to call it, from me, who is Coach Calyx and a Grandmaster Terran. So, as we know, the game has been patched, and this is the first patch by Blizzard in 5 years. So, I think the entire community has been waiting for something to happen with, classic 3-0ing Clem at the biggest tournament in the world. That is, of course, EWC. So classic 3-0'd Clem, and then Pig had a video about this issue, what Clem thinks about the balance, and I will link that in the description in case if you're interested. But I will tell you what I think about the patch. And in a few short words, I think it's terrible. As a Terran player, I think that it doesn't fix any of the issues in TvP, which I will go over in this video. I also think that it makes TvZ significantly harder to play in the late game. I think that the light tag on the Ghost is brain dead, for a lack of a better word. And let's go over it. So I'm not going to go over exactly all of these changes here, but I will go over the ones that matter. So they did the muta, that's cool. I think that the muta is fine. Like the baneling, okay, cool, that's great. And now we have Microbial Shroud. So, Microbial Shroud now produces ranged attacks by 50% damage. This is going to make it to where Marauders, even though they do shoot slowly and have high damage, they're going to be significantly worse versus Ultras, which is the main way that I actually deal with Ultras in my games, because the Ghost has been nerfed into the ground. And honestly, the whole turtling behind planetary siege tank ghost thing does not suit the way that I want to play the game. So I could deal with Ultras by making Marauders, and I think that it was very balanced, and there's no issue there. So they did this, and this just makes me feel like I have to all-in every game against Zerg, and as we know, we've already had strong feelings about all-inning versus Protoss. I don't care that the cost increase or all of this stuff. The fact that it exists just makes it significantly harder for Terran to play late game in TvZ, in my opinion. And of course, they gave the Ghost the light tag, and that means that if the banelings connect with the Ghost, it's going to be very deadly. So that's it for Zerg here. I mean, I don't think that Zerg needed any buffs. I don't think that it was crazy. Like, the +5 baneling thing, I think a lot of people are happy with, myself included, because 8-Rax was very popular and maybe even a little bit too strong. But I still don't think it was too crazy of a change. Now, let's get to Protoss. Now, this is the part of the video where I'm going to really express my true opinions about. So they nerfed energy recharge, this is cool, but this doesn't address the biggest issue in TvP, which is the hallucination scouting. They can still get out a sentry, and they can still hallucination scout very early, know exactly what Terran is doing, and hard counter it. And I have a big problem with this because we've had scouting from all 3 races for years. Now, I've only been playing StarCraft for 3 years, but if you just look at the history, Overlords can come in and scout, but you can kill Overlords and you can deny Overlords. We have Viking Opener, Void Ray Opener, all of these things to deny scouting. And it's something that you can consistently do. And both players can fight both to scout and to deny scouting. And both players can fight for this, which is good for the game. Same thing with the Reaper. Reaper is how Terran scouts in the very early game. And there are some things that are a given, like you can always scout the 3rd base with it, right? But if you want to scout deeper into the base of a TvZ, the Zerg can do a lot to deny that. And if they're good, they can deny it consistently. And if you're good at scouting with the Reaper as well, we have a bunch of timings. We have the 3:10 timing, we have the 4-minute timing, and you can go in and get information as well. But both sides are fighting to gain scouting information and to deny scouting information from all 3 races. Now, Protoss has the Adept, which if you ever watch a pro Protoss versus Terran game, you're going to see the Protoss is constantly shading the Adept up into the Terran's main, and the Terran is constantly rising and lowering the depot to deny the shade and therefore deny scouting. On top of this, we have the Oracle, which, although Stargate is not a very popular tech path for Protoss versus Terran, it still exists, and that is a way to scout. Now, with the Twilight tech path, we are going to see Robos from the Zerg, or sorry, from the Protoss, and that has the Observer. So we have the Adept, we have the Observer, and we have the Oracle. Three forms of scouting that Protoss has that can consistently gain scouting information and also be consistently denied, depending on who the better player is. And that's good for an RTS. But with the hallucination scout, there is no way to consistently deny it. The best way is to go for a very early factory opener off of a tech lab on the barracks, and then you're swapping that with the factory, getting a cyclone out, and then hoping that you're going to catch the hallucination scout. But even this has about a 50-50 chance to deny the hallucination scout because you can only have one cyclone by the time that the hallucination actually comes in. For this reason, it's not something that you can consistently deny, and on top of this, the Protoss doesn't get punished in any way. They do get punished because they lose a chrono boost, and also their tech path is 75 minerals late. Now before you guys go all crazy and say, well, that the Sentry is 100 gas, the Adept is 25 gas. So to compensate for that, the tech path is 75 gas late. And that doesn't matter. You're not going to feel that in game, and it doesn't matter if you lose the hallucination scout. You're still just going to get another one, and you're still going to be able to scout just fine. Now with this change of the energy recharge, they are going to get less energy, but they're going to be able to cast the energy recharge more. Now that is nice because it means a bigger deficit to the Protoss's eco if they do decide to go for a sentry opener and energy recharge that. But with all of this in mind, it still does not fix the issue that I just addressed in regards to Terran versus Protoss scouting. On top of this, I really dislike how the Stalker has been reduced, its build time has been reduced from the last patch, not this patch, the last patch. The Stalker has had its build time reduced by 3 seconds. And if you look at the patch notes, it says that the reason they did this is because they removed battery overcharge and replaced it with energy recharge. And the worry from the Balance Council was defending Proxy Marauder. So in exchange, they allowed the Stalker to build 3 seconds faster. But this has made it harder for Terran to have aggressive options, especially with the bunker not being salvageable anymore, and the Stalker build time being faster. But more importantly, something that I really struggle with in my games, and something I think is completely unfair, is the fact that all Protoss players are going Nexus before Core, and you cannot punish them. Unless if you're proxying buildings or doing something a little bit cheesy, there's nothing that you can do to punish Nexus before Core. The Reaper is not going to get to the other side of the map and be able to kill a probe before the Stalker comes out because of the 3-second decrease in build time. Now, back to the reason why they did this. It's obviously, if you go look, it's because of the Marauder change. That's what they said. Or not the Marauder change, but the battery overcharge change. And they're worried about Proxy Marauder, right? This is what I just said. And if you actually watch, like Hearthstone, for example, defend Proxy Marauder, you're going to see him make Adepts. So this is just an artificial change that has just boosted Protoss eco and decreased Terran aggressive options, which is bad for the game, in my opinion. Something I really, really dislike. This is another issue in TvP that they did not address at all, and I'm very dissatisfied with it. On top of that, we have Storm. So let's get into Storm. I don't care about the mothership. Psionic Storm has been changed. Let me just read this out. Psionic Storm changed from 80 damage over 3 seconds to 140 damage over 6 seconds. 26.7 DPS down to 23.3 DPS. And this is about a 3 damage reduction over a whole second. Now, I've played a bunch of games of Terran versus Protoss, and Storm does not feel any different in regards to damage. The radius is bigger, and this is noticeable, but most importantly, the Storm lasts 3 seconds longer, which is a 100% increase from the old Storm. This is a massive problem to me. I am very dissatisfied with this, I'm very dissatisfied with this change, and it doesn't fix any of the issues. Protoss's capability to just sit at home, play 3-gate blink, do nothing the entire game, and then get 6-minute storm to stop any kind of 7-minute timing attack that Terran has, on top of the hallucination scouting, is quite frankly imbalanced. And I am not happy about this at all as a Terran player. I feel like the matchup is completely just done. Protoss is completely overpowered, and I don't feel like the game, there's even like any way to beat Protoss. I feel like when I do beat a Protoss player, it's not because I outplayed them or because I surprised them or anything like this. It's only because I got lucky. And that's it. That is it. There's nothing that Terran can do. There's no push, there's no 3CC, there's nothing. And you can talk about this and debate, but at the end of the day, these things suck. There's a reason that 3CC is not played against Protoss for all of these years. And now we're suddenly bringing it up. And it's not because 3CC is better, it's because Terran has become so bad that options like mech, which we're seeing from the pro players, and less efficient openers like 3CC are becoming discussed and more popular. But it's not because they're good. It's because Protoss is overpowered. And I want to make that clear. Protoss is imbalanced. It's a fact. Everybody knows it. Clem talks about it. And the Balance Council goes ahead and decides to buff Storm. And that's exactly what this is. A buff to Storm. They increase the radius as well, and they decrease the range. Now some people will be like, oh, well now EMP outranges High Templar. No, it doesn't. It does not outrange them at all. You could argue that it outranges them by 0.5, but it doesn't. So it just doesn't matter, because like I could talk about this all day, but the army control from Terran is significantly harder. It's just you're not outranging Storm. I've never felt like that in any of the games I've played on the new patch that I'm outranging Storm. Never, not even once. Also, the Dark Templar attack delay, this is a terrible change as well. I have no idea why they did this. We're just going to go past this. Surveillance mode on observers, this is a cool change, but doesn't fix any of the issues I just described in TVP. We have the infinite scouting, the imbalanced storm, and the Nexus before core issues. And we haven't fixed any of these. They also buff disruptors, which is brain dead, and they reduced the stasis ward, which is cool. I mean, Terran Siege Tank can no longer be abducted. They're just incentivizing Terrans to play Penguin Mech or traditional Mech, however you want to call it. Cool. But they just nerf bio into the ground with Microbial Shroud and the light tag on the Ghost. Biking cost reduced. This is cool, but this doesn't actually help in TVP at all because you're not having a mineral issue in TVP. You're having a gas issue in the mid game. So it being 75 gas, awesome. Like this doesn't matter. Like a 25 mineral decrease to minerals it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It does matter in TVT though, Terran versus Terran. It makes like 1-base 1-1-1 pushes stronger. It makes like a bunch of different areas of TVT a little bit stronger for Vikings, which is cool. I think that this is a good change, but it doesn't fix any of the issues in the game. We need big changes to fix Terran versus Protoss, which is the most difficult matchup in the game. And this isn't even just debatable. This is factual. Terran versus Protoss is the most difficult matchup in the game and by far the most imbalanced in favor of Protoss. Drilling Claws effectiveness increased. Awesome. This is super cool. Doesn't matter versus Protoss. We only see this versus Zerg. But guess it's still kind of cool. Hyperflight rotors time decrease. This is a good change because basically you get to choose between Hyperflight rotors or Cloak, and you don't have any downtime on your starport after your 2 Banshees, so this is cool. Liberator got nerfed, whatever. I don't really care about that. Ghost supply reduced, and now Ghost has the light attribute. Now I want to talk about this again for Terran versus Protoss. The issue is that Terran's timing attacks have completely fallen off, but regardless of all that, you can still do them, and a lot of people still do. What we're seeing is Protoss is going Storm into Colossus. And the reason they're choosing that tech path is because of the starport units. So you have to make Medivacs versus High Templar, And then versus Colossus, you need 4 Vikings per Colossus, or at least that's a good number, right? So what they're doing is they're making it to where Terran, obviously the aggressive race, they want to stim, and drain their medevac energy as a result, and then they're also getting storm, so there's more energy, and then feedback, more energy decrease on the medevac, and it just feels like your entire army is bruised. And then they go into Colossus, and now you're not allowed to make medevacs anymore. And if they feedback them, it's a huge issue. And you still have Ghost left over, as well as them having High Templar. And because of the light attribute, they're going to melt versus Colossus. I cannot believe that Blizzard did this. I cannot believe it. Like, do they even play the game? Do they even look at what community is saying? Are they watching what Hearthstone is saying? What Clem is saying? Okay. Like, are they even doing this? This is a terrible, terrible change. I can't believe that they did this. It's horrible. All of these bug fixes are cool, awesome. So, obviously I'm very dissatisfied with this patch. So what am I going to do? As a Terran Grandmaster, somebody who loves the game with a passion, and, you know, I truly care about StarCraft. What am I going to do? The answer is I've switched to Protoss. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have fun on ladder. Playing Protoss is really fun. I've played a bunch of games on the new patch. Every game is Protoss. I played for about 9 hours straight yesterday, and I got basically only Protoss. I got like 5 Terran players, like 4 Zergs, and the rest were Protoss the entire time. Like, seriously. And then I switched to Protoss, and all I was getting is PvP. Everyone is playing Protoss. The game is dead. I hope you enjoyed yourself, Blizzard. Have a good one, you absolute legends.